Welcome to Quick 3D Tutorials. In this video we want to talking about the Arnold Hair shader, how we can use the different options we have inside here. So the first things we're going to look at is before we go to the setting, we need just open Maya and loading a hair. In this case I have using the content browser inside FX and Hair, and I have just double click on it to import it and just putting some of symbol lighting, area light, one here and one here on it, and this one is a little bit stronger so we can see the specular information from the nhair. So in the past video we have also showing you how to apply the hair shader, Arnold Hair shader for nhair and also for the Xgen, so you can just check this out as well. So now we want just applying, so we just selecting our hair, we're going to the hair system shape. Make sure you uncheck this one, that's be helpful to using it to make this transparency or something like this, so we need to check this one off and go to the override the hair and find the Arnold shader, which is inside Arnold shader AI standard hair shader. So now we have applying it for the render. In this case I want just to render fast, so I make sure not using the diffuse information, which is the GI, and the system as lowest as possible in this case. So now we are ready. We're going to open the Arnold and make sure you updating full scene before you do anything. And now we can just playing it. As you can see, now we have getting our render. So in this case, to render a bit faster, I'm going just to focus about maybe holding shift and focus in this area. So here is the default setting. Of course we have some of preset, black, blonde, dark brown, green, red, and so on. Some you can replace it and you can create your own, but in this case we're going to through all these settings we have inside here. So the first thing is the base, but before I talking about the base is actually, let me just show you this. Here we have the base with a different value, and the value of this, which is the base color, is actually, if I just playing it now, is completely black. If I just putting it to be yes, I will just show you this later. So we just go to this section. Higher number is black, lower number is blonde, and 0 is going to be white. So if we just look into it, so we have it on the 1. If I just putting it to the half, we're getting like a brown look, and some of here we're going to get the blonde, and completely 0 we're going to get the base color information, which is in this case is white. As the lower number we're going, as slower the render time it also will be. So in this case I want to change my base color to pink, let's say. And now you can see it's going to be changed to the pink color. We can also use a ramp texture, which is two color is going to be blended together if we want to. Is more you can use it more for the short hair, not in this case, but again you can using it as well. So now we have actually understanding about this. So if you want it dark, go this side, highlighting it lighter like blonde, so going there, and it is on the 0 is going to be completely affecting the base color. So now the base color has been affected, and if I just put this one half, you can see it's going to get more like dark on it. Let me just putting it as 0, so you can see we're getting the base color, which is the black one. So in this case we're just putting it on the 1. Just stop it for a second and go by the default settings once again. In this case I want it kind of to be a little bit brownish. So The next thing is the redness. Is a little bit hard to see it, but if we're going to the redness here, so here we have kind of blonde color. If we're putting the red, is going to affect the yellow, and red will give us kind of oranges color. So that is kind of pigment, under pigment, and so on. It will affect the render of the hair. So if you want that redness on and off, by default is in the between. So it is kind of depend what do you like to have. And the second one is the random sizing of this, and it is very helpful when you want to actually make the hair look like gray. So let's see, one have a gray color. To do this, let me show you. We need to make it a little bit darker. By 0 we have nothings. If we're going like number about 6 or something like this, and look to the hair, now we're getting more like gray or whitish things. So it's going to look like we have gray hair on this hair. As higher number you go, as more random color you will get as well. So in this case we just put it back to the 0. Oh, so here we go. The next thing is the roughness. Yes, as higher number we're going to get like dry matte effect. As lower number we're going to get like more oilish or healthier hair. So we can also testing it. So the 0 is shiny, and the 1 is kind of very matte, and the color information be also affecting, so we can see more the color information as well. So we're just putting it to the default. And the next thing is this is showing you how much strong reflection do you want to have. So here you have very less, and here we have a lot of, and we can of course playing by this to controlling how much reflection. And make sure you don't putting it so high, because the specular is white and it look like you have gray hair also. So here we go back to the default. And the other is the shifting. Basically what that mean is, I don't know if you can see it. Now we have the specular in the outside and inside. Here we having it in inside, and now it's going to be outside round of it. So you're going to playing by this to getting the number you want to getting it to be shifting the specular. So now we want to talking a little bit about the specular color. We have the specular 1, 2, and we have the other one as well. So basically for them, they're just playing it. Now we have white, we can putting it to be pink. So now you can see the specular color is pink. Oh, excuse me. Here we go to white once again. And we have also the second specular. I think it's be better if you're going to lighter color, so we can just see it better. But even we having like brown, like blonde color, is going to be very, very hard to see it. You can see we're getting kind of pinkish color information here, which is going to be the second specular color. So that is about 2 different specular we can get, but in this case we're just putting it to be white again. So here we go. And the last thing is actually also affecting whole of the hair. So see, putting it to the blue, and it will be affected more when the hair is lighter. So now you can see we're getting kind of other specular is going to blending by this, and it's going to give us a blue color. So now we have the second thing, which is the diffuse, and below and so on, and diffuse. So here we have diffuse. You can also using it to make whole of the color to be like gray, like this one. In this case, we can see, and you can also using like crazy color if you like to. And the other thing with the diffuse is actually it's going to speed up your actually is going to speed up the render time as well. So we're just putting it to here. So if we're going to specular, put this to be half, so you can see now we have adding kind of like gray color information to it, and if it is in 100 is completely this color we have, and we can of course choosing any color we want. And now you can see it's going to render much faster in the other. But for now we're just putting it to be 0, so we have only the nhair or hair shader to look to it. So the next thing is the emission, and it's going to be like emission we know is going to completely give us flat color information. In some cases can be useful for physically correction, and it should be very little bit, not so much high. So in this case we have this one, and to open the emission actually you need to one click on it like this. So we have the emission, we can just putting it to be a little bit. Now you can see it's going to affect all the hair. So depend how much do you want effect and which color do you want. In this case we have white. So the second thing is the translucency or opacity. And for the opacity work correct, you need actually check this one off. And now we go back to AI standard shader once again, and we want to focus on this area so we can see it a little bit better. So here you can see we can see all the hair, and if you want to be transparency, so now you can see in the edges we have transparency or opacity on it. So as lower we give, we're getting more, and so on, as you know. So I think basically it was this, and the other thing we have actually, we have some of the UV and so on. You can read a little bit more about this if you like to. And we have the indirect diffuse and indirect specular if you're using the GI. So the GI is if you're using some of these information, and it's going to affect the indirect diffuse, indirect specular. Here we can see the indirect diffuse, how is affecting the color of the diffuse, and in this things is going to affecting the specular only, not the color. So here it has changing the color to green. Here is going to affecting only the specular, as you can see here. And the other thing is about sampling. So it's going to help to reduce the noise by the local shader. So let's see, we want to render this one with the extra samples. So we need, I don't know, give it 3 or something like this, or higher number. Is going to slow it a bit down, but is going to give us more detail actually. 2 seconds. Okay, I need just zoom out once again. Excuse me about this. So here we go. So it's going to help to get like more noise free, and again you need, actually it is better give samples here, so you will get like more noisy free. But of course we need also adding some of camera, diffuse, specular and so on, but it's going to be a little bit expensive, so just give some of sample from here, so you will getting it like more nice, faster render actually. So, and as you can see here, we have a lot of noise, here we have less, and because of this we have adding it. And the same thing with the light, we have, make sure you have a noth sampling, which is the max is number 3, should be a noth for the Arnold. And that was for some of the effects is going to help, but basically it was this about the Arnold Hair shader. And yes, so I'm going just to make a very quick render of it. Again, the last thing I will just ending it up by the render. Of course, you can adding the sample from here, but in this case I just putting it a little bit less because it's just fast render, and I want it to be kind of about black color. And now for the final render, of course you need to have this one to be, it should be more in 4, but in this case we're just putting it on the 4. For the diffuse and the specular and so on, if you're using GI, in this case I don't do, so it's okay. So yes, so it's going to give us something like this. So I just went into the image be rendering finish, and now we will get, of course I have not making my what is called area light have not enough samples. It will also helping it, but the local samples here we get from the Arnold shader, it help a lot, as you can see. And of course the render settings is also one of the important things. So it take me 34 seconds. So as you can see, it's not the perfect one, but it's just fast render, so you can just see it how it look like. And thanks for watching.